Within the heart of the Roman Empire, where paths of power and ambition intersect, rises the story of an extraordinary emperor. The waves of history clash to tell the tale of Nero, the young emperor whose reign was known as one of the most controversial periods in the history of ancient Rome. Since his birth in the arms of the July-Cloud family, greatness and power awaited him, but they came loaded with the burdens of mystery and controversy. Under the sky of Rome, which witnessed the rise and fall of many, Nero wrote chapters of its history with ink of fire and blood, of art and madness. Let's dive into the depths of history to uncover the life of Nero, the controversial emperor who inspired myths and left an indelible mark in human history. Born on December 15th, 37 AD, in a world dominated by power and intrigue, Nero came into existence within a family belonging to the heart of Roman nobility. Her name was Agrippina the Younger, daughter of the famous Roman Emperor Germanicus. She was an ambitious woman who skillfully navigated the corridors of Roman power. After the death of Nero's father, Agrippina married her uncle Claudius, the Roman emperor at the time, thus paving the way for her son to become the heir to the throne. Agrippina was the mastermind behind Nero's rise, as she took every opportunity to enhance his position and did not hesitate to use all means, whether persuasion or cunning, to achieve this goal. Amidst the conspiracies and thrilling events in Rome, Nero's journey towards the throne began. Plans were woven in secrecy, and alliances were built to achieve one goal, to make Nero the emperor of Rome. After the death of Claudius, which is rumored to have been unnatural to Nero, the ambitious young man who was not yet 17 years old, ascended to the throne of the greatest empire in the world. By being crowned emperor, a new chapter began in the history of Rome, a chapter written with letters of ambition and power, but also with lines of madness and mystery. Within the corridors of the imperial court, where threads of power and ambition intertwined, stands Nero, the young man who has reached the age of 17, crowned as the emperor of Rome. Nero began his rule cautiously, influenced by the advice of his advisors. The footage shows how he attentively listened to his loyal advisors and engaged in political and administrative learning. Over time, Nero began to feel confident in managing the empire, making administrative and political changes. The image may show his introduction of reforms in the tax and legal systems and strengthening central control. In the year 64 AD, a massive fire swept through Rome, leaving widespread destruction. The paintings show the flames and smoke rising from the city, while Nero's facial expression shows a mixture of astonishment and confusion. After the fire, Nero took bold steps to rebuild the city. Photos show reconstruction plans, massive construction projects, and his vision for the new Rome. Nero dreamed of a greater Rome, a city that reflects the glories and aspirations of his empire. The image shows Nero looking at the horizon, contemplating a future that combines greatness and mystery. In the heart of ancient Rome, where religions and cultures coexist, a wave of tension began to loom. Christians, who were a minority, found themselves the focus of attention and suspicion of the Roman authorities. In the aftermath of the Great Fire that swept through Rome, Nero found himself under intense pressure. Rumors and speculations were spreading, and he needed a scapegoat to redirect the anger away from him. The Christians, with their different beliefs and methods of worship, became an easy target. Nero began a harsh campaign of persecution, using unprecedented and brutal torture methods. Horrific torture methods were used, including burning and crucifixion, and sometimes Christians were used as human candles in the imperial gardens. This persecution reflected Nero's cruel vision and intolerance. Nero's motives remain a subject of debate among historians. Were they an attempt to consolidate his power and direct public anger away from himself, or were they driven by a bigoted view against Christians? The questions still hang unanswered. During Nero's reign, Rome witnessed horrifying developments in the arts of torture. Devices and methods were used that instilled terror in people's hearts, designed not only to inflict pain but also for humiliation and defamation. Among the gruesome methods, there was the burning of Christians alive, where they were covered with flammable materials and set on fire. This method was used to turn Christians into sources of nighttime illumination in Nero's gardens. Among the Christian martyrs mentioned in the narratives were the Apostle Peter, who was believed to have been crucified upside down at his own request, and the Apostle Paul, who was executed outside the walls of Rome. These brutal acts have not been forgotten over time. These places of torture, and the stories associated with them, still stand as witnesses to a dark period in human history, where persecution turned into a stage for cruelty and injustice. In the final years of his reign, Nero began to lose his grip on the empire. Coups and rebellions erupted throughout the empire, reflecting a growing discontent and loss of confidence in his rule. The tragic events continued to unfold until they reached their inevitable conclusion. In ambiguous and controversial circumstances, Nero's reign ended with his death. The accounts vary, but the most common is that he committed suicide under the pressure of the coups and the loss of support. Nero's death left a power vacuum that deeply impacted the Roman Empire. This was followed by a period of chaos and instability, which later became known as the Year of the Four Emperors, a time marked by a struggle for power. Throughout the ages, historians' views of Nero have varied greatly. Today, historians are reevaluating his rule based on a variety of historical sources and evidence, attempting to understand his personality and policies more deeply. Nero's character has always been a subject of controversy. On one hand, he is seen as a cruel and tyrannical ruler, and on the other, as a maligned leader and a victim of historical propaganda. Opinions vary from seeing Nero as a creative artist and a lover of culture, to accusing him of madness and excessive cruelty. His reign, filled with dramatic events, remains a subject for analysis and debate. Even to this day, historians continue to research and investigate to understand the different dimensions of Nero's personality. His historical legacy, filled with mysteries and contradictions, remains a source of inspiration for historical studies. In our journey through time, we have explored the life of Nero from his upbringing and rise to power, through his controversial reign, to his tragic end and enduring impact on the Roman Empire. The character of Nero, with all its contradictions and mysteries, remains a subject that stirs curiosity and debate. From the culture-loving artist to the harsh tyrant, there are many facets through which this famous emperor can be viewed. We now invite you to reflect on the complexity of these historical figures. Each character carries within them worlds of stories and lessons, and Nero is no exception. His history beckons us to search and question the truth behind the myth.